Hey, everybody. It is halftime in Houston where the Kings lead 63-59. But the big news was in the first minute of the game, Domantas Sabonis left with a hamstring injury. We don't know the severity, but that is the last thing this team needs right now, Ryan and Jerry. Jerry, good to have you with us.
Yeah, good to be with you guys. A great, great effort by the Kings. I thought, obviously, Domas hamstring that could be several weeks for sure. So that's
Boy,
a just couldn't come at a worse time. Fortunately, having a guy like Valanciunas, who's a real professional center, and
yep.
it's been a really an outstanding center for years. So and he's just doing a great job. So, but they got to keep him on the floor too. So, hey, it's yeah, in a dogfight, but the Kings were, I just love that zone that Doug was playing there in the first half or first quarter. That's really gotten better, and real progress being made there.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It was the same hamstring, by the way, that Domas appeared to tweak against Charlotte a few nights ago. So, not sure it makes a big difference there. The Kings have an open roster spot. We'll see if they do anything depending on the length of time. To the defense, Jerry, I thought the Kings did a pretty darn good job. But here's my question for you: how would you guard Şengün? What can the Kings do different?
Well, they really going to have to give Valanciunas help in there. Şengün is just too mobile for him. So you really on the weak side. I mean, they can drop off of Thompson or Easton, any of those guys, and give a little help because they're not going to make perimeter shots.
Let's talk about the Rockets. I thought they were extremely rusty early, and I think that can be attributed to Fred VanVleet getting back into the lineup after not playing for a while. Then things got going in the second quarter where the Rockets actually outscored Sacramento in a high-scoring quarter, 38-36. So here's my question, guys. And Ryan, I'll start with you.
Yeah.
Is it a concern that the Rockets only shot 44% and 36% from three and still scored 59 points and are within four? I'm looking at the second half here. The Kings shot the ball very well at 53%. Both teams did a very good job taking care of the ball, but it's only a 4-point game, and you don't have Sabonis, Rhino.
Yeah, of course it's a concern, Grant. And Valanciunas has a couple fouls already. Imagine what the Kings are going to have to do if he gets into foul trouble. I would say my bigger concern, they gave up 7 offensive rebounds there in the first half, which isn't terrible, but the Kings were getting good stops on those shots. And the Rockets got second opportunities, which then, Jerry, led to and ones, extended plays, etc.
Well, it's been interesting to me. I think with the Kings, really the Rockets are all on offensive rebounding. As you're talking about here is that the Kings have got to keep them off the board.
Yeah,
They're this isn't a good shooting team per se, but they really are good on the offensive board and very athletic. And I think that may be a determining factor if the Kings can just hold their own on the board the rest of the way. And you know I'll just say this. I mean, Zach LaVine looks like exactly the Zach LaVine you wanted to see. I mean, he is really looking like the star that this team really does need offensively.
No question about it. It looks like the rust is out of his game. All right, so we talk about no Sabonis, and we have no idea how long that will go for. So, Jerry, what do the Kings do when Valanciunas is not in the game? What would the lineup look like to you over an extended period of time?
Well, I think you'll have to play it kind of game to game now. A game like today or tonight. I mean, I think Trey Lyles is a good. You can play small ball against. In fact, he might actually be a better matchup defensively against Sengun than Valanciunas because he's more mobile. And but now the next game against Jokic or something,
Yeah.
that's another story. I don't know what you do, but I think it's a game to game thing. But I do think that without Valanciunas, you're going to have to figure out a way to play small ball five.
Yeah, you're going to see, we were talking about the rotation between Lyles and Laravia. You'll likely see the two of them together. Don't know if this means maybe you see some Isaac Jones in the near future, at least on the roster for that secondary option behind them.
Yeah, I think Isaac you could use, especially against against Sengun a little bit, also against Jokic. Give some fouls. He's got 6 fouls to give. That's really the way you have to approach that. Just go out there and compete as hard as you can. But yeah, it's going to be a difference. You've really got to keep Valanciunas on the floor as much as you can. He needs 30 minutes at least, and most of this half for the Kings to have a good chance, I think, because he's a problem for them as well with his size and length.
Well,
One thing the Kings, one positive here, Ryan, the Kings are not having problems scoring against a very good defensive team. Now, the Rockets have not played well over their last 10 compared to when the Kings saw them earlier in the year. You got to remember, Sacramento has won both games already against Houston at home. But I think that's the real positive here is how the Kings have been able to score the ball against a good defensive team.
Well, the offense has been incredibly fluid, and if you needed somebody to step in and play a similar role to Sabonis, JV is exactly that. The Kings don't have to change their style. Malik Monk, you worry about 4 turnovers, 4 of the 5 Kings turnovers. Yep. But Keegan Murray, Jerry, he's getting it going again, double digits in the first half.
Yeah, being aggressive, you can see that really Keegan is really looking for his shots, hunting them. And that's great to see on this team. You're going to have to be aggressive. They're not just going to find you for shots. You need to go find your own shots. So I like that. And, like I say, a pretty decent bench performance. Got a little something out of Fultz, got a little something. Laravia is really struggling with his shot. He's certainly not shying away from competing and playing hard, but at some point he's going to have to start making some shots.
Jerry, I'm curious from your perspective, looking at Ime Udoka and the decision he's got to make here in the second half. Van Vliet played 16 minutes, looked very rusty, did not score, didn't really do much. I would assume he'll start the second half, but would you think that Ime would have a quick hook on him just because he's obviously rusty?
I think so. I mean, obviously, first game back, he doesn't look like himself at all, to be honest. And certainly, Ime is going to, like you say, will want to start him and hopefully see if he can get something going. But if he really can't, they're going to pull him, and I think they should. He's still finding his way back.
Don't disagree with that.
Prediction time, Ryan. What do you think?
I think the Kings win this game. I really like the way they're playing defensively. I like the flow to the offense. I'm going to say Sacramento 117, Houston 113.
I kind of like the Kings 110-1-6. I think it'll slow
I think
down.
it's unrealistic without Domantas Sabonis that you're going to be able to keep up this pace. I agree with the comments about Valanciunas, but you lose a lot of depth now. You lose a double-double machine. I think the Rockets, you saw in the second quarter, got their offense going after a very stagnant start. I think their offense will be very good, and so I think this will be a close game. I think the Rockets win this game 120-118. All
right.
Well, it should be a good half, that's for sure. And, I mean, it will be a real key. I just think with Valanciunas that they've got to be able to keep him on the floor for sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he only has 2 fouls. So, I mean, right now he's not in jeopardy of being in foul trouble. The pace, though, in the second quarter, do you think that's the pace we'll see, Jerry, in this second half?
Yeah, I kind of do. I mean, I think that's the way both teams are comfortable playing. They want to play at a pretty good pace. And that'd be my concern with Valanciunas. I don't think he'll foul out, but conditioning concerns me. He really hasn't played consistent minutes all year, not just when he came to the Kings. He was playing limited minutes in Washington. So I worry about his conditioning going on in the second half. We need to watch that pretty close.
Jerry, maybe that's the spots where Coach Christie continues to mix in that zone defense that you've liked so far in the first half.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, and certainly with Lyles playing here again, I think you can play him in that zone against Sengun and match up pretty well. So, just keep the Rockets off the offensive board. Just keep them off the offensive board, and I think you can win this game because they really they need a Van Vliet to have an offensive game, and I don't think he's going to be able to have one.
All right, I want to go back to an hour ago. If I had told you, Jerry, at the beginning of the game that Sabonis would only play 1 minute, you wouldn't pick them to win the game, right? But so what's changed in the first half? What do you like where you think the Kings can and will win this game?
I really am surprised at how well how easily Zach LaVine and DeRozan are getting their shots. I really expected a little tougher defense from the Rockets, and And that really is encouraging. And of course, then Keegan has been aggressive. So I really think the Kings offense has been better than I would have expected, certainly without Sabonis.
Completely agree. I think we're seeing much more of what we saw against Charlotte in Sacramento than what we saw in Utah just a couple of nights ago.
Well, we'll see. We'll be here a little bit, about an hour or so, and we'll talk about this, and we'll see if the Kings can get a big time road win, and probably won't have an update on Sabonis until tomorrow. So I know everyone's going to be asking us, what's the deal with Sabonis? We won't know. They will do further imaging tomorrow. They probably have an idea right now, but they won't say anything. They won't make it official until he has some imaging done on that hamstring tomorrow. Jerry, appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, good luck, guys. Going to be a great second half. Hope the Kings can just make a couple of key shots to get the W.
Sounds
Yes,
good, Jerry.
indeed.
Appreciate it. Rhino, we'll talk to you after the game, buddy.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to it, Napes.
All right. Should be a fun second half. We'll be back right after the game. Give us a call. We'll be more than happy to break it down for you. Enjoy. Bye-bye, everybody.